and welcome back to Moon Pearl Mysticism. I will be doing a collective reading for general viewers today. So let's see what's in the cards. Interesting. So the very first card that came out on the Celtic Cross was the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, crossed by the Justice card. So I believe that something that you were working on for a long time, that you had been cultivating, I believe that it was cut short by either legal problems or just legal questions unrelated to the work itself, but that you just had to put your work down so that you could concentrate on the legal problems. So either they stem from what you were working on already or they don't, but either way they are interfering with your ability to complete your work or do your work. It may also be like the financial burden of trying to deal with legal problems. It's making it difficult for you to focus on what you need to focus on. In the past, we have the King of Cups in reverse. I wonder if the legal problems are coming from whatever person this represents. So probably a man or a male energy in the past has done something that felt like an emotional betrayal. I'm hearing betrayal. It seems like, he's the King of Cups, so it was kind of a big deal. And it was enough to cause a legal situation. And then the energy that's currently passing out of your life right now is this trying to start your work, trying to focus on your work, trying to really turn it into something. That is now fading away, and coming into view is something more like the Queen of Cups. So maybe more important for you going forward is going to be emotions, and it's going to be the way that you can mitigate this thing that has happened that has changed your priorities from Pentacles, which represents the material, financial, into Cups representing your emotional. So that's kind of taking precedence. And we have in the future Queen of Cups. She's actually worked on her emotional cup so much that you can see how ornate it is. And she's admiring it with like a grin of like sort of pride. And then the Three of Swords in reversed is like to alleviate more heartache and more heartbreak. You are going to be focusing on being more prepared for stuff like this, rather than like material concerns. Those are not as important to you anymore. Now, representing you in this situation is the Page of Cups in reverse. So yeah, so this is you feeling like you're in a position where you're out of your depth. This is not your forte. You weren't prepared to have this emotional issue, and so you're starting to have to learn. You're having to learn how to manage emotions, how to manage trauma, how to make that part of your conscious life so that things like this don't take you by surprise or cause upheaval again when you're trying to plant something that's going to last for a long time, in terms of like the work that you do. Then you can't constantly be in emotional upheaval. Your hopes and your fears, I think you're hoping to transform this situation. I think you're hoping to turn it into something that is positive for you in some kind of way, even if it's just a lesson. And we're fearing losing that total happiness, that togetherness in the family, togetherness in business relationships. Whoever this King of Cups was, it changed the relationship dynamic to where it doesn't feel safe anymore. So it's kind of like, I really hope that I can either regain or preserve this peace, this familial togetherness, and being fulfilled by it, because I think that's your fear, is not that you'll lose that financial stability, but the real fear is that these emotional surprises will keep coming in, keep being hurt. And the outcome is the Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords represents the dichotomy of two ideas, because we have two swords, air, two words, two ideas, two points of view, and we're kind of balancing them. And sometimes it represents a choice. So you may have to make a choice. To me, I think in this situation, this is representing kind of straddling that ability to, to you it seems easy, maybe, if easy is a good word. It comes second nature to be successful in your career, but then you have been happy and not had conflict in interpersonal relationships for so long that it's hard to deal with, because you've never had practice, that you never had a situation where you had to deal with such serious repercussions and backlash before. Let's see, is there any kind of solution or... Oh, okay. I got the Six of Swords reversed. Immediately in my head, it was like, don't run away. Not running away. Running away is not going to help. That's just the first intuition that I had about that card was, we can't run away. Can't run away from it. So what do we do? What do we do? The Sun. Time. Letting time heal it. When the sun comes up, it's sort of like everything will come to light. The sun, the UV rays sanitize, they purify. The sun gives energy. It's like, let things be out in the sun, and then like everything will resolve itself. Kind of let things just be, and let them speak for themselves, and it'll resolve itself. Oh, and the Lovers. So unfortunately, this is discord with another person. I'm hearing this is difficulties with another person, and we can't always control what other people do. And I think that comes back to the Sun, which is let their actions be in the sun, let them come to light, and then what will be will be. And the Two of Swords came out again. So I think in this sense, it's your choice. It's your choice how you want to proceed. It's your choice if you want to stay close with this person. It's your choice if you want to let it pull you away from what's important to you, your priorities. Like, and it's also like, yes, I have to take care of my business. I have to take care of my stuff. At the same time, I have to juggle and balance handling this. Yeah, so you have to do your journey. You have to focus on your journey and come from a place of that. And then there's this dichotomy of, I also have to get along with other people. I also have to have these other people along with me, helping me. And if I'm having relationship problems, I have to take care of it, because that's part of the whole package. That's part of how, my life goes. It's kind of like, how do you have the emotional energy to work if you don't do fun things with your friends also? But then a friend betrays you, and it's distracting you from your work, and it's almost like that's not what friends are supposed to be there for. Whoa! Temperance. Yeah, it feels like everything's out of balance. Everything needs to come back into balance. and it's out of balance. Now, is there anything about the legality of the situation, the court case, that we need to know to help us get through this time? Whoop! The World. Okay, so I'm hearing like the legal system is not fun to deal with. It's not fun to deal with. It's the negative parts of this world, right? Of the 3D. It's like you just have to kind of accept the things you can't change and you can't control. The legal system is really slow and it's really ruthless. So it's kind of like you're not of this world. You're not dragged down by this. Only if you get mired in that mess. Okay, so we've got worries over this legal case. It's keeping you up at night, and it's giving you anxiety and nightmares and lots of worries. But based on the King of Cups, I believe that the existence of this legal case is because of what someone else did to you. Which, I mean, count your blessings. Like, at least you're not going to jail. At least you're not the one in the hot seat. You're the one at night dealing with all these... You're the one at night dealing with all these traumas that they left you with. But you're not... I think, like, these are horizontal. They're not like jail bars, but they're like the other side of the jail bars, right? Like you're imprisoned in this trauma that someone left you with. King of Wands came out, and I don't know if he's reversed or not because he fell on the ground. But I just heard like this is like somebody in the court, in the law, like your lawyer, the other person's attorney, the judge, more likely the judge. And he's the King of Wands. Wands represent fire, and so that means that I think there'll be a harsh, swift judgment. I think you know, the court case might not be swift. It might not be an easy, fast process, but the judgment is going to be harsh. Yeah. And if you're the victim of a crime, I can't give you legal advice, but it might help if the person who committed the crime, who betrayed you, it might feel better if there is justice prevail than if they face some kind of punishment. Okay, I need final message or advice for anyone dealing with these issues today in the collective. What does their spirit guides want them to know? How can they make it through this situation? Okay, so I feel like you haven't been leaning on your family as much as you could or should. Don't should yourself, but there is a support system around you that you haven't tapped into. And if you do, it will be worth it. Like, you might think that you're it's too heavy to share with somebody. You might think that nobody wants to hear it or cares, but that's not true. That's not true. And if you need help, please reach out. If you have been the victim of a crime, again, I am not a legal expert, but please tell somebody who does work in that, you know, at least tell the police. And yeah, I think justice is a good way to heal from things that have happened to us. When there's justice that prevails, that makes it easier to move on. Makes it easier to move on. So give yourself the credence that you deserve. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to have justice. And don't let it interrupt your life where you're seeing success. And don't let it take away your profession or your identity. Because, yeah, you can move on. That card that I already shuffled away shows all the swords in the boat, right? And they are going to greater things. They're moving on to bigger and better things because they're going across the sea. They're going to a new land. And it's not really like running away. It's not really escaping. It's just taking that step of like, okay, I need to move on. And whatever you need to do that helps you to move on, you deserve that. That ties back to that Three of Swords in the future reversed. There's not going to be any more heartbreak. There's not going to be any more sudden violation. It's just going to be how do you create justice for yourself, and how do you create a space for yourself where you're safe to heal from it. On the bottom of the deck we have the Hierophant, and he is, you know, obviously high ranking in the spiritual field, but what we see here on the Rider-Waite is that he sits on these keys which represent the power to loose and the power to bind. So whatever you want to tie to yourself, you can focus in on, hone in on it, and fasten it to yourself. But anything that you don't want, this is, alchemy, manifestation, you don't have to even pay attention to it. Don't name it, don't look at it. And it's not denial. It's, I see it, and because I see it and know what it is, I am consciously saying that's not part of me. It's not part of my reality. It's not what I want. So that is just being in the driver's seat of your life. And I think that's the future. And he's also number 5. So it kind of is like a number that ties everything together in your 3D, in your material circumstances, and he has alchemized all of his life experiences into spiritual wisdom, and that's what I see for you. And if this is your reading, if this is your message, make sure that you're not trying to force it onto your life if it doesn't fit, and make sure you're doing everything that's best for you. And I wish you the best. I wish you healing from this. This is a topic of a reading that makes me a little bit borderline on whether I'm gonna post it, but as long as you understand that I'm not a criminal law expert and I'm not your lawyer. I just want to give some insight into spiritually what might be going on, and what might give you more empowerment is just to have that insight into what's going on underneath everything, and also a little bit of like what you can do to sort of feel more empowered after a situation like that. Legal situations do come up in the tarot. As we know, there's a justice card, but yeah, I'm still gonna post it. But thank you so much for watching. If you don't find that this reading resonates for you, I have several other videos. Please visit my channel and watch my other videos. Stay tuned and subscribe for more that might pertain to your zodiac sign, things like that, more collective readings. And if you'd ever like a personal reading from me, my email is in the description, and I hope you'll come back. Thank you so much.
All this time I've been holding on so tight, 'cause all that I do was easy to use. So call my time, but you